Hey guys, it's Miss Stark. Today is a beautiful day to learn about thesis statements. Having a strong thesis statement is essential. Think of your thesis statement like your main idea. What is your paper trying to prove or do? So when you're looking at analyzing a piece of text, so you have multiple different things. You have your thesis, which is your main idea, your details, evidence from the text to back it up. This part is factual, right? It's not up for debate. How did the writer do it? What evidence do you have to back up what you're trying to say? Explaining it, right? Elaborating on it a little more. And then commentary. This is where you provide your insight, your ideas, explaining why the details you chose, back up your thesis statement. Okay. So your 6 ingredients of a strong thesis statement. The first thing you need to do is answer the question you were asked. If you are given a question, a prompt to answer, directly and accurately answer it. Don't just answer part of it, make sure you answer it completely. Commit to a specific focus. Don't give 3, 4, 5 different answers. Commit. What are you trying to prove? What is your answer and how are you going to explain it? Don't be too specific. You want to be able to write about the whole text, not just one paragraph. So take a position. Your thesis statement is your opinion. It's something that can be proved and refuted on both sides. So say it was a fact, like the sun is X miles from the earth. I can just do a quick Google search and back up that fact, so that would not be a thesis statement because it would be a one-sentence paper. There's nothing to prove, there's nothing to refute, there's nothing to be challenged or opposed. So you want to take a position that you can back up with facts, but they can be seen from both sides. You must be able to prove and defend your thesis statement. Okay? Ask yourself, is there enough information to prove this? Do I have enough information to back it up? If not, you're going to need a stronger thesis or you're going to need to change your ideas. And then the last thing is you're going to want to make sure that you inform your reader. If it's an analysis of a literary text, you must include the author's name, the work, and the genre. So for example, in Catherine Weber's essay, Sleeping, and then you would explain what you were going to say. So again, answer the question, make sure it's specific, but not too specific that you can't explain it. Take a position that can be argued, be prepared to defend it and back it up, and make sure that you inform your reader. Include the author's name, the title, and the genre of the work. So here's an example from Sleeping. We just read Catherine Weber's Sleeping. So say your prompt is, why is Sleeping a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story? So why is Sleeping a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story? So this is the prompt. This is the question you are going to answer in your paper, right? Or your analysis, whatever we're doing. So here are a couple different ideas. The baby is supposedly sleeping the entire time. The baby is dead, so in a way it is eternally sleeping. The mother is sleeping because she is not awake to the reality that her baby has died or that she couldn't even have a baby to begin with. Okay. So here are some examples of a weak thesis statement. Right? So again, we see our prompt. Why is Sleeping a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story? So a weak thesis would be, it works as a title because Charles is supposedly asleep the whole time, but in actuality he has died. Okay? So that would be a weak thesis. Why do you think that would be a weak thesis? Okay. So a little better would be, Sleeping is a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story because Harriet doesn't have the experience to know what is happening. Charles is eternally sleeping, and because Mrs. Winters is asleep to reality. So not quite there, but we're getting better. Right? This one has a lot of information. Okay? So if you notice, and I'm going to move me to the top. If you notice that in the setup of the second thesis, you're given so much information, way more than you need, right? You also get the author's name, the title, the genre. So that is good, but it's way too broad, right? You would have to discuss Harriet, Charlie, and Mrs. Winter all in the same paper. So you want to narrow it down to one. And I'm back. So here is a strong thesis example. Okay, again, we have our prompt, why is sleeping a symbolic title in Catherine Weber's short story? A strong thesis example would be, sleeping is a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story because the word represents the emotional state of Mrs. Winter, a woman who is unable to awaken and face a painful reality. So this addresses, it's specific, it answers the prompt, you inform the reader, you have the title, you have the genre, you have the author, right? And it takes a specific focus, right? So what I want you guys to do now is copy the prompt and this strong thesis example on the journal side of your writer's notebook, right? So I'm going to give you a moment. You can pause me, and I want you to copy the prompt, why is sleeping a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story, and example of a strong thesis statement. So sleeping is a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story because the word represents the emotional state of Mrs. Winter, a woman who is unable to awaken and face a painful reality. So take a moment and write those down on your next available page on your journal upside down page of your writer's notebook. Okay, so what I want you to do next is respond to the prompt and the thesis. So I already gave you the question and I answered it for you. So what I want you to do is the elaborate and commentary component of this. So on the same page, write a one-paragraph response using the thesis you were given for sleeping, right? So this thesis right here, that it's a symbolic title because it represents her emotional state, right? She's not able to awaken from her painful reality. Okay. Make sure you prove the thesis with support from the sleeping text. Okay. Make sure you also use a citation after you quote. So quote exact words from the text, end quote, parentheses, Weber, and whatever page it is, 1, 2, or 3, parentheses, period. So anytime you quote, you're going to use this MLA format for quoting a text. So again, what I want you guys to do is write one paragraph response using the thesis I gave you, prove it and support it. Back it up. Okay, so I already gave you the main topic, so go ahead and pause me again while you write this paragraph and then unpause me when you're ready to continue. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now that you guys are back with me, you've written your paragraph, you have, you've recorded the strong example of a thesis. So what I want you guys to do on this, using the same prompt that I gave you, and it's at the top of this slide, why is sleeping a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story, I want you to write one additional quality thesis statement. Only the thesis statement, you don't have to respond to it. So I'm looking for one sentence. One strong quality thesis statement, right? Write it at the bottom of the page you were just working on. Some possible ideas for your thesis. Would be the baby is supposedly sleeping the whole time. The baby is dead, so in a way it is eternally sleeping, or the mother is sleeping because she is not awake to the reality that her baby has died or that she couldn't have a baby to begin with. So again, take a moment and write one additional quality thesis statement using the prompt, why is sleeping a symbolic title for Catherine Weber's short story? And I'll see you in a moment. All right, guys, and what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you bring this thesis statement with you to class tomorrow, and we're going to discuss it. So make sure it is complete. If you want to do 2 thesis statements and try them out, you're more than welcome to, but I'm only requiring you to do 1. So I'll see you in class tomorrow.